Oh, bro, I already had this conversation with my 5-year-old because he was already asking about cars already. And like, because he loves cars, like he loves playing with cars, and so he's like, I want to get me like a really good car. And I told him straight, I was like, man, we're poor, so you gotta wait until Grandpa dies, and then you can just inherit his.
That kid's just sitting around being like, how you feeling, Grandpa? Everything okay? Check that heart rate. You doing all right? Huh?
Yeah. Your kid is like, can someone die, please?
I was like, bro.
But someone rich. Someone rich. And I don't care if the poor people in our family die.
Yeah.
But somebody rich, please die. Hey, what's going on? It's Michael Yo. Welcome to the Yo Show. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. It is absolutely free. So just do it. Just do it. It really supports us. All right, we got Rudy right there.
Hello.
Rudy Pavich, great comedian. We got Sean, great comedian over there. And I am Michael Yo. Okay, let's talk about it. Buying cars. They're so expensive today. And I was talking to Rudy about going back and forth between buying and leasing because your daughter's car broke down. Tell me about it.
Daughter's car, bought her a 2018 Ford Escape 11 months ago. And last week the transmission went out on it. $7,000 to fix the vehicle.
What?
$7,000. $7,000.
And there's no insurance on it.
Well, there's insurance on it, but there's no like warranty. There's no warranty that you can go back because the powertrain warranty is already because it was 130,000 miles on it. And we did not buy with the high mileage.
Extended.
You can buy the extended warranty, but it's for 12,000 miles for 12 months, and it costs. Because it's a high mile car, the warranty is like, dude, it's like $5,000 or something.
And honestly, to be truthful, they probably find ways to not cover a lot of stuff.
Of course, yeah. They always find ways. Absolutely, yeah. So I was on the fence about, do I fix this vehicle? Do I sell it? The vehicle is worth about $6,000. I owe $10,000 on it still. So
Upside down.
So what do I do? I'm in this predicament. So I flew back to Minnesota. And we tried all the options. What are we going to do? And finally, we just went and we pulled the trigger. And I am telling you, I have won the biggest dad points I've ever won.
Wait a minute, pulled the trigger on what?
Pulled the trigger on a vehicle for my daughter.
Okay, did you buy it or lease it?
We bought it. And here's why. Instead of lease, I know we were going to lease, but I'll explain why. So my 17-year-old daughter is now driving a 2025 Mazda CX-5.
Whoa.
All leather interior, Bose speakers. I mean, dude, it's awesome, man. It's got like a lighting package. Everything in there is like set to her. Everything is like pink and blue, and it's awesome. Like, I can't believe how awesome of a car this is.
Okay.
I'm blown away by it. So I was going to lease. That was going to be the deal, right? Then I sort of started looking at the pricing and what we could get for our vehicle and all of it. Typically, I'm paying about $250 a month for my daughter's old car.
Yeah.
This one, if we would have leased it, I would have probably been around like about $450 a month.
With the trade-in?
With the trade-in,
okay.
Yeah. Yep. So it actually would have cost me less to trade in. And the lease would have been less had I traded in.
Yes.
Because now they have to roll that extra $10,000 that I owe into the loan. And we kind of went back and forth on numbers and prices, and we tried some things we didn't really know.
Are you in the delership haggling?
Yeah.
Y'all going, I hate that.
Yeah.
You're going back and forth.
Yeah, and but the guy was cool. He was great. He was an old musician. Yeah, like we knew a lot of the same people, and he's a big comedy fan. So it was at the end of it, it was a great experience. But I ended up, what I really wanted to stick around that $250 price point. And
so how do you get out of a car that's $10,000 upside down?
You just roll it into the next loan. You just don't have a choice.
And it was only $250. You got out of there rolling in 10. That's what I thought.
No. So my old payment was $250 a month. This new payment, after everything is said and done, after all the upgrades, after everything, like we got the lifetime warranty on this thing, right? Lifetime powertrain warranty. So that's engine, transmission, axles, all that stuff.
What do you mean lifetime? Like for the...
As long as my daughter owns the car or as long as somebody in the family owns the car, then it all stays in. We bought the extended warranty, which is 15 years, 150,000 miles, which then covers basically everything except for tires, rims, brake pads, anything that is consistently worn down.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I now have a $400 a month car payment.
With the $10,000
with the 10, with everything rolled in. But so here was the rationale behind it. So my vehicle, because I'm about 18 months into owning my vehicle, I have 45,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
And only 18 months, right?
Oh, wow. Well, you drive a lot.
But I drive constantly. Yeah, constantly. So the way I'm looking at it is by the time my vehicle is ready to go, my daughter will be ready to move on from her vehicle. I can get rid of my truck, take her vehicle. She'll be at the point in her life where she can go out and get her own vehicle.
That's so funny. Yes. That is so, but you hear that? He said she's going to get her own. That is hilarious.
Now,
put it on, put the cat. That's hilarious.
Now,
that's not going to happen, Rudy.
Whether she decides to go out and get a beater, that's going to be up on her.
Rudy, I'm letting you know, and your daughter's older than mine. You've been through what I've been through, but I know the type of person Rudy is. He will not let his grown daughter run around in a car that could get beat up and stopped in the middle of nowhere. You are not that type of father.
Well, I wouldn't allow her to purchase a $500 beater for herself, but I'm not also good. But I'm not like, I've given enough. I mean, between tuition and cars, I've given enough. That time is done.
This is like the dude talking before he gets married. Oh, nothing's gonna change. I'm gonna go out with my boys. I'm gonna do all this, and then you go like, I gotta stay in tonight. Like he's talking big game right now because he just bought her a car and she loves him. Right now.
But I've also done that too. Where like I got engaged one time and I was like, nothing's gonna change. Nothing changed for me. I still went out. I still partied.
And how'd that work out?
Well, she cheated on me, you know.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow. That's took a turn.
Yeah, caught her in a car with another dude at 2:00 in the morning, but whatever, it's fine.
Oh, that should have been the podcast.
That should have been the topic. But what do you think is the limit that you will spend on your children for vehicles, both of you?
Vehicles?
Yeah.
Nothing. Like I'm low on their cars because I remember my first car. Oh, you got to put a picture of it. It was called it was like so small. It looked like it was a Flintstone. You know how I was bigger than the car. It looked like I could lift it up and run with it, like the Flintstones.
Yeah, like a Ford Fiesta?
Yes! Oh. It was the Ford Fiesta. Have I told you that before?
No.
It was the Ford Fiesta.
No, but I know that vehicle because I know the timeline between you and I and the year you would have been driving it. And those were the smallest vehicles. They were almost like it was like
a go-kart.
Yeah. There was another one that was out the same time. I think it was called a Ford Tempo.
Yes.
But the Fiesta was the one that everybody sort of liked to drive because it was cheap and it was smaller, but you got good gas mileage.
But my parents made me buy it.
Yeah.
Like I had to save my money and buy that car. I think the car was $3,000.
Yeah.
And
that sounds about right for that time.
And then I put in $2,000. They put in $1,000. And the only reason they let me buy the car is so I could go to work. Because I worked for it. So, and I wrecked it. I wrecked my first 3 cars within the first 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So, but it was never my fault. The one that almost killed me was my fault. But I do want to do another podcast about almost death experience because we all had them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that was I've had a couple. So yeah. So those are pretty crazy. Like literally something as simple as standing at a light. And like yesterday, and this is not this podcast, but we'll talk about it. And I was at a line about to turn into Chick-fil-A. I was crossing the lanes, right? I'm at a red light. But a car coming out of Chick-fil-A, and there's this lane that comes real fast. You know, they got the right of way. And it's a stoplight. One of the people, I think it was this car zooming down the street, didn't see it, smashed into the car coming out of Chick-fil-A and headed our way. Because we were to the side waiting to turn in. And I go, they didn't make it to us. But I was like, in my mind, I hit reverse on the car, was thinking about all these ways to get out of it. And it stuck in my head for like 2-3 hours after. It's like, if that car was going faster and that was a little bit later and that car could dodge it and messed up the dodge, it would have ran right into us. But that's how
close.
That's life.
Yeah.
It's like right there.
Seconds.
And that stuck in. My kids are in the car too. And it just had me shook.
Yeah.
Where it blew, like, it's just that moment where, wow, we're like gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as far as spending money on cars, I just want a safe car for my kids. You know what I mean? Sure. I don't care. Like, I don't want to say I don't care about, I'm not getting like an expensive car, but it'd be the cheapest, safest car for them. If it's a boat, it's a boat. If it's, because Teslas are very safe cars, but I would get like a one that's so old used, it's like 10 grand.
Yeah.
12 grand.
Yeah.
If he was into electric.
Yeah, your daughter's going to have a Rolls Royce. Your son's going to have that Ford Fiesta. That same exact one. He's going to go back to Houston and buy it for $70 off a dude who's selling fireworks out of the back of it.
No.
Your daughter, on the other hand, she's gonna roll. She's gonna roll in luxury.
No, my daughter will be because the one thing I'm even with is I think we all treat different. If you had two kids, you treat them differently because there's no way to treat them the same because they're different people, right? But I can say I'm pretty fair about giving things. If I give something to one, I give it to the other. There's no favoritism in that. Like even when I have Daddy Sunday or Daddy Daughter Day, if I get my daughter something, I get my son something. You know, which is, they need to learn not, I mean, I got to learn, sometimes people are going to get stuff you don't get.
Of course.
And that's why I separate the days because I'm getting to that point where she just comes home with something.
Sure.
And then, hey, you're going to come home with something on your day. But as far as cars and safety, I'm big on safety. I remember when my wife got pregnant, I bought an overpriced Volvo because it was known as the safest car, an SUV Volvo that cost through the nose just because I didn't want anything to happen to my family.
Sure.
And I still drive safe cars.
Yeah.
That's why, honestly, I drive electric cars because they are on paper, the safest cars because they don't have a motor to go through your chest when you get in a car accident. It's just all, it compacts, you know what I mean? So I try to stay in the safest cars. But my thing with cars is the older you get, before you're like, oh, I need something cool, I need something fancy. Now it's just about safety. You know what I mean? I'm all about safety. I don't care about looks. I would never drive a sports car. Like literally, I was reading an article that if you're in a low sports car, those are the ones, because if you hit somebody, that goes right through your windshield. They literally lift up on your car and go through your windshield. So
my first vehicle was a 1985 Toyota Corolla that had a hole in the floorboards that you could see the highway when you were driving.
That's what's up.
Yeah, they were. It was
it had a
It's like
floor?
No, the hole in the floorboards. Yeah. So like the floor of the
That's
vehicle.
right. What was that for though? Why was that hole there?
No, it was because it rusted out.
His car rusted out.
Oh, I thought cars came. I swear I've seen that before too. Maybe it rusted out, but I was like, I thought that came with like a peephole for the ground.
Well, was like I had a Honda Element that had almost like a plug on the inside.
That's what I'm saying.
Basically, it's used to like you could spray out the vehicle if you needed to. But it was
okay.
But it was but for us, the hole underneath the vehicle was so rusted that it literally ate through. So you'd be driving down the highway doing 60 miles an hour and you could see the highway underneath us. And that was the safest car. My parents, $400. Yep. All right, well, it was so bad the windshield would fly back every once in a while. Like you'd hit a bump and it would unlatch and it would literally at 60 miles an hour the hood would fly back and smash the
I also think it's a different time where parents didn't care about kids. They didn't mind a kid getting beat up or abused because they abused us.
Yeah.
Like I think like the rules are different where, and I talk about this with my son in sports. My son has never asked me to play a sport. I mean, my son, we put him in sports where my parents didn't react to nothing till I asked for it, right? And now the whole thing, I got in a discussion with this about my barber. I put my kids in the sports so they're not on computers.
Yeah.
It's different where we already played outside as young kids. That was the thing, we played outside, right? But today, to get them off of things like tablets or whatever, you can tell them no, and that's great. And then they're miserable around the house, or you can keep them busy in sports. And we decided to go the sports route, you know, and to keep them busy. So that's how times are changing, where I feel like our parents really didn't care about abuse and about, put them in anything. They didn't think about our safety. You know, it's like if it runs, it runs. Because really, safety was not a thing in cars. They were all made of steel. They were all like kind of durable. And tough.
I've been watching Welcome to Derry on HBO.
Yeah.
And it's set in like the 50s or something, dude. I was looking at some old vehicles and like those things are built. I mean, they're like tanks.
Yeah, they're tanks.
All steel. Like the bumper on that thing must have weighed 1,000 pounds. You know?
Yeah. So they were like me. I would never put my kid in a Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
My parents didn't think twice. The smallest car on the road, literally, you get in a wreck, they could just bury you in it. It's your coffin. That's how small it is.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Like
no crumple zones.
No crumple zones. Like, I was like, how would they even let me drive that car?
Right.
You know, because they didn't think about safety. They didn't think about kids like that. Kids, I feel like today more than ever, parents want to be around kids where their kids were just something.
Yeah.
I mean, they loved us and all, but fathers, you worked 8 to 5, 9 to 5. You saw your kids for 2 hours a night before you put them down. You put them to bed. That was their job, and they were a good father if they did that. Where you can see research, men try to go home more to see their kids. Yeah. Men try to go home early. Try to do jobs where they can see their kids more. It's just a different mentality. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's the same with cars. Like that's why I wouldn't pay a lot for a car as long as it's safe. What about you?
Me? Oh, bro, I already had this conversation with my 5-year-old because he was already asking about cars already. And like, because he loves cars, like he loves playing with cars, and so he's like, I want to get me like a really good car. And I told him straight, I was like, man, we're poor, so you gotta wait until Grandpa dies, and then you can just inherit his.
That kid's just sitting around me and like, how you feeling, Grandpa? Everything okay? Check that heart rate. You doing all right? Huh? Yeah.
Your kid is like, can someone die, please?
I was like, bro.
But someone rich. Someone rich. I don't care if the poor people in our family die.
Yeah.
But somebody rich, please die.
I told
please
him,
die.
man.
Throw up the DraftKings thing real quick. Have I done this show?
Not yet. No.
All right. So this is very important to Rudy, to Sean, to me. It supports the channel. First of all, subscribe. That's the number one thing. That's free. And if you're into gambling, make sure you do it responsibly. But DraftKings has teamed up with us. New customers bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets. The bet has the win, but you have to use my code that's right there. YOBET, YOBET, YOBET. Thank you so much to DraftKings. Any more about this? Anything you want to get off your chest?
All good, man.
That's our advice. Like, since you just went through the car buying, I want to end on give a piece of advice. And I just bought a couple cars because I had to trade in my old cars. Gotcha. So what's your piece of advice on buying cars?
Stick to your guns when it comes to the upselling.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part because they got you in there. It's that last thing, you know. I feel like you'd feel safer if your daughter was I don't need the Rain-X film. I don't need any of that stuff. I want the car. This is the car. No more upselling. We're done.
So I went through that too, but let me tell you how I do it. And this gets rid of all that drama. What I do, and I do it on purpose. I say I want that car, and we decide the price. We'll go through and I'll just say I don't want to go back and forth. Just give me your best price. And they give me their best price. And then my wife, she will find a better deal somewhere else on the spot and be like, what about this? Boom, they'll match it. We buy the car. They say, well, we got to go through financing. And I goes, check my credit right now so I can make sure. So I play like I don't have credit. So I go, can you check to make sure I can get it? So they check. Now they know you got the money. You got it, everything. And I go, all right, I got to leave. Can y'all drop the car off? And I sign the paperwork at my house. So they'll drop the car off at your house. You don't have to sit there for 2 hours. They'll drop it off. You sign the paperwork. Then they can't upsell you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go to the office to go through all the BS of the upsell. Well, maybe you need the interior protection and this protection and that protection. You're like, no. So basically the guy calls you and says, do you want it? I go, no. And boom, it's done.
Yeah.
And then they bring you the paperwork. You sign. They drop the car off to you. And you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Good advice.
And any car dealership where you spend okay money will do that. You know what I mean? And that car you bought, they would have dropped it off. They would have had you, I got to go. I got to pick up my kids. I got to do something. Can you bring the paperwork to my house? We sign and then drop off the car. And then what they did for me is they took my trade-in car back to they would have took your $10,000 undercar back to the dealership.
No, sure.
So that's how I get out of haggling.
Nice.
I don't play games, man. You got to stick to your guns. We decided on this. I got the credit. They know it's a sale now. Bring it to my house. I'll sign the paperwork there.
Yeah.
That's my piece of advice.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next time on the Yo Show. Rudy, where you at?
I'll be in La Jolla with you. Actually, those shows already happened. So check out the website, rudypavichcomedy.com. November 28th, Heavy Rotation Brewing in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. That's probably the biggest show I got.
All right, put up my schedule real quick.
I got you.
This is where I am. We just did La Jolla. We'll be in Honolulu. I'll be in Philly November 12th. November 16th, I'll be in San Francisco, Cobb's. That show is pretty much sold out. Honolulu, I will see you. Ontario, California, Are you there for that show or
I'm not there for that show. No.
That's a whole weekend though, right?
Yeah, that is a whole weekend. Yeah. We got to update this because this graphic is.
Yeah, we'll update. But I'm there the whole weekend.
Whole weekend. Yep.
You want to do that weekend, Sean?
Oh, I could look into that.
Yeah.
Down the street, why not?
See, see that?
Yeah, see
That's how
works?
big he's gotten.
Yeah, right.
Where
I'll see, maybe.
Like that's what I'm saying. You know, when somebody offered me something, put the full screen on. You see, when somebody offered me something, like when I was coming up, I'd be like, yo, I don't care what's playing, I'm be there.
Yeah.
Now these younger comes, they're like, oh well, let me see if it can work in my schedule.
Yeah, let me see if the dealership
You know what? I
can
take it
drop
back.
off my new
It's
car.
like Shark Tank. I don't want you there. You're done. You're not going now.
I'll be honest with you, man. You threw me off. I wasn't expecting that question.
Well, see, you got to be prepared.
No, that was wild.
It's kind of like when you go to somebody's show, and they say, you want to go up?
I get startled.
You got to say yes.
Yes. You always say yes, regardless.
Regardless, you got to say yes.
Figure it out later. Always say yes.
Because they will be like, oh, he's not a real comic. He's scared to go up.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I went to Comedy Cellar. I wasn't even supposed to go up. They were, you want to go up? I was like, yeah. And I went on after Michael Che when Saturday Night Live was huge. And, yeah, you got to be ready. Got to be ready.
That.
All right, we'll see you next time on the Yo Show. Peace. I love you. 안녕하세요. 감사합니다. 안녕히 가세요.